Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hello.
Today we're going to be painting another figure. This is a little bit different. The last one was actually from the same box. The last one was a Viking, who is here. This is the guy we painted last, which is all jolly good. However, I just wanted to paint this one as something a bit different. This is actually a gripping beast Viking, which I have added a Arabic hat to head, given him an Arabic shield and a Russian bow, because I did. For basically, at the moment you can't seem to get hold of plastic Arab infantry in mail, sort of medium infantry. You can only get the guys in dresses, the gibber. So I decided to do no, Janissaries would look like this at the time. In fact, Janissaries didn't actually exist at the time, but Janissaries basically, well, you know what Janissaries were, but these are meant to be medium infantry in the Arab army for the early Arab conquest and the Arab Empire. If you look it up through the book, we're building an Arab conquest army, and it's great because the great thing about Islamic armies is you can generally use them from day one right through to, actually some of them could probably pass the present day if you just gave them a rifle. So they're useful figures because you can use them over large periods of time. You can use them into the Crusades, you can use the early conquest. So you got quite a lot of periods, the invasion of Russia and everything, they were the same kind of stuff. So this is a Griffin Beast Viking, which I have added a shield from the Arab Conquest box, the head, and as I said, the on some of the figures I have added a bow, because usually the back rank of the troops would carry bow, and they would fire, when they weren't fighting, they would fire bows over the heads of the front rank.
And if they're getting chased by cavalry, just destroy the whole line. No, sorry. Constantinople.
Constantinople?
No, what's it called now? Istanbul.
Yeah, it didn't always work. What armies did before then was generally put the bows in front, and then the bows would have to withdraw. So if they were charged and it wasn't timed right, the bows would be moving to the back as the forward ranks were trying to, as the spearmen were trying to move forward, and if you hit them at the right time, you could actually break the line without really fighting much. Quite efficient. But these guys, you had bows in the second rank. In Hail Caesar, that gives you a two dice bow attack, which is pretty good, 18-inch range. So a normal infantry unit can still pelt away at the enemy soldiers while being bow and medium infantry at the same time. So instead of your combat of 5 with bow, you've got a combat of 6 with bow, and you've got your other skills on top. So you're tough fighters and stuff. So they're actually quite good troops.
Maybe it depends on you fighting. It's good fighting an overpowered army.
They did pretty well against the. I'll just undercoat it while we're talking. They did particularly well. The thing was, the Sassanid Empire, which was a really powerful empire in Iran, modern day Iran, and in fact that whole region. And the Byzantine Empire in Turkey and Syria, places like that, were at war with each other. And they... Where's my gunmetal gone?
Is it? Let's have a look. No.
Oh, you're using gunmetal. No, that's grey. We really need to get some more paint pots.
They go.
Thank you, thank you. Sorry, my wife sat behind me at the moment painting, and she's using my paints, which is... Sorry, my paints, our paints. They're communal paints. So I'll just paint this in. What?
Nothing.
Well, they are communal paints. Everyone uses them.
Apart from painters.
Well, I'm a painter and I'm using them.
Apart from non-painters.
Yeah, okay. So everyone in the house who paints uses my paints.
No, you didn't buy them.
Yeah, I'll just show you. That's my wife currently sat painting. What are you painting?
She doesn't like cameras on her.
What are you
She's a
painting?
bully.
Figures.
What figures?
The German and French and British.
French World War One 6mm.
Yeah.
Boring! Right, let's get back to proper figures. Proper 28mm figures. Brilliant.
And Amon says he just sitting there, chucks.
Yeah,
relaxing.
but no one cares about you. God.
I take a lot of offence.
Don't
Normally it's supposed to
Please
say,
don't.
at the
Please
end of that
don't.
sentence, it's supposed to say no offence. But it's funny, because when they say no offence,
They
how
mean
can
they've
you
just
say
offended
that
you.
when they've offended you?
Yeah. In other words, I've just offended you. No offence.
Which I get really annoyed when people say no offence to me.
Like, wow, your forehead is huge. No offence. It's like, right, so you just completely insulted me. No offence. Seriously?
Is that your offence caused you?
Right, for this figure, I've also used the Russian sword. Main reason for using the Russian sword arm instead of one of the Viking sword arms. Where's the Viking sword arm? I've got one here. This is a Viking sword arm. The Viking sword arm just has cloth up to the hand, whereas the Russian sword arm has an armoured gauntlet on his hand, which is on his arm, which actually suits this period of figure better. So because they used to have that, the sword arm troops, you tended to have troops who, this is the Arab conquest army. So the elite troops, these would usually be Sassanid converts or Roman converts. They were particularly well equipped, and the swordsmen would wear sort of armour on the arm.
So if they've got hit on
side.
the arm.
Yeah, it was a bit like having a buckler, you know, like a hand buckler on the sword, and so that's what they used to use, and which is why the Russian figures have it, because it's the same sort of period and the same way of fighting. So I just thought that was much more useful for the figure to use that. Before I do anything else, one thing I missed out with this figure is a scabbard, because I had no scabbard spare. I usually put get a normal scabbard and cut the end off like this. That's the scabbard. I just cut the end of the scabbard off to show that his sword's been drawn. I couldn't do that with this because I've actually run out of scabbards.
Nice one.
Because these are the sort of spare bits left over, and so I will paint up and stick a scabbard on later, but I haven't got one to do now. So it seems a bit silly doing it, but that's where we are. So I'll just paint his moustache on, and right. Sorry, what were we saying historically wise? Yeah, so the Romans and the Sassanids have been battering each other constantly, and they were sort of lost in this really long Stalingrad style war, and it was really bad. And just as both empires really ground themselves down to the last troops, that's when the Arabs suddenly erupted out of Arabia and invaded. So yeah, that's basically what happened. This is post Muhammad. So Muhammad didn't actually conquer much territory. Well, he conquered territory, but there were only about 5 towns in it, so it doesn't really, it wasn't that impressive. But Bukhara, when he launched the big Arabic offensive, he conquered vast areas. He conquered the whole of Africa, not North Africa, Egypt, primarily because there were no troops to defend the areas. So his armies just sort of spilled out and swamped any local defence militia that were around. See, the Byzantines didn't really like lots of well-armed local defence troops because they could rebel. So they liked to keep the provinces relatively lightly armed.
Yeah.
So when a huge army of 40,000 warriors comes over the border, there's not much they can do. So and what the Muslims would do is that they would go to a town and say either everyone you surrender to us and you can all live, or fight us and we do the stuff that we're famous for. And most towns just surrendered because there wasn't really much point.
Yeah.
Muhammad fought one of his early battles was against these Bedouin guys, and there were 70 casualties in this. The population was about 2,000 in this town that they defeated. And if you think about it, the 70 casualties would probably be the fighting age men.
Oh yeah, what would it?
So how on earth can a town with 70 men capable of fighting be able to resist an actual field army like Muhammad's army, which was quite a large army at the time?
Oh.
So yeah, it was very, very hard to defeat.
Well, how 300 Spartans take on 1,000,000?
The 300 Spartans were the 40,000. The 300 Spartans were the best soldiers on earth,
Only 3 of them though.
and they were fighting against the basically blokes who were just given a spear and sent into battle with hardly any training. So, and they were armed with wicker shields, and the spears would just snap when they were hit by a brass sword. So
And wound Xerxes.
yeah, the Spartans lost anyway because they were surrounded, and Spartans can't fight in it when they're surrounded. But it wasn't just the Spartans; there were a few thousand other guys there as well.
Yeah, there was a movie.
Oh, you're talking about the movie?
No,
Oh,
I don't-
right, we're
I
talking
don't
about Greek
read, I don't
propaganda
read.
now, are we?
No one reads anymore.
Yeah, now we're discussing the Greek propaganda ministry. But yeah, no, actually, I love the films. I think they're great.
I like Rise to 300.
Yeah, I think Rise of 300 is better than the original. Although you don't like it, do you, Haley? Because it doesn't have Gerard Butt in it.
Oh no.
No,
Oh.
no. Haley really likes the films because she really likes Gerard Butt. Not just because you like his butt.
Which is why I call him Jared Butt, man. Yeah?
But
I never said that.
Gerard
No?
Butt.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I think this was from that one.
So anyhow, I'm not discussing Gerard Butt's bottom.
We started this conversation.
Yeah, but I'm not. Right, so the Arabs attacked. Can I call them Arabs? Arab conquest? They're not really Arabs. Only about 10% of the army would ever have been Arab.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them would have been recent converts or just other peoples. So it's not a brilliant name for it, but the empire was run by Arabs. The local government was organised by Arabs. Arabic was spoken at court. So everyone would have spoken Arabic in official language, as an official language. So it was really a bit like a European empire where a handful of Europeans in dinner jackets run an army of locals to run the empire for them. So you'd go out to India with 3,000 men and you would rule the entire Indian subcontinent with Indian soldiers, Indian sepoys, and a handful of British soldiers.
Yep.
That's how the Arab Empire worked. It was just a handful of Arab officials, and everyone else was Syrian or Egyptian or post-Roman, whatever. Sassanids. But yeah, it's actually it's not much different now, to be honest. That's still how countries defeat people and conquer people.
If you can start something better.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the hat right. I'm trying to get the creases in the hat right, but we've got a new grey, and I'm not used to using this grey yet, so it doesn't exactly tone as well as I'm used to. I'm used to the darker grey, so I'm trying to get the folds in the hat right. How's that? Does that look better?
It looked better before anyway.
Yeah, and now I'm going to add a little bit of colour to the trousers I've just done, because this guy's been fighting through the desert. A little bit of dirt on his trousers. Okay, now his jacket. Jacket would be, I'm thinking, a yellowy colour, but not too yellow, so I'm going to mix a few colours together. Do I like that? Not really. I'll add a bit of this. Yeah, I like that. That's actually Games Workshop paint, that one. That's Ballard Brown. It mixes brilliantly. Oh yeah, this is going to be better. That's good. There we go. Now at least, instead of doing Vikings, where you have to put two tones on, you don't have to do this, because all this is just a jacket underneath the chainmail. Oh, there we go, and just do his arm. He's beginning to take a little bit of character now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right, so I will add some white, and I'll give the jacket a little bit of two-toning, just to bring the colour of the jacket out. Yeah, so the poor old Byzantines are there battering away at the Sassanids, and the Sassanids are battering away at the Byzantians, and then suddenly this Arabic army turns up, intent on conquest, and they decide to attack the Byzantines first, thinking that the Byzantines would be the easier to defeat. And they defeated the Byzantines, but they took so many casualties that basically that was it for invading Byzantium. And they didn't really fight Byzantium for another 300 years. So the Roman army fought them to a standstill.
So even though they were fighting, the Romans and Byzantians were fighting for so long, and they were about to lose all forces, the Arabs turn in the very end and still lose.
The Arabs actually won. They defeated the Roman army, the Byzantine army. Unfortunately, what could Byzantine do? This was Roman, remember. Raise another army. What could the Arabs do? Keep having babies.
Yeah.
And wait till they've grown up.
So wait another 18
they had no way, unless the Arabs had to win in order to gain troops, because they would go into a town and the local army would join the Arab army, and they would all march off to fight. If you lose a battle,
screwed.
You've lost. You now don't have supplies. So then the Arabs invaded the Sassanids, and they defeated the Sassanids because the Sassanids one of the head generals changed sides.
Sides?
And a lot of why not?
What do you mean, why not?
Well, it probably benefited them slightly better. You're talking about religion now, aren't you?
No.
Well,
I was saying, why would you portray your own army you're working for as a general?
Why does look at Arminius, a fine, upstanding Roman general, Roman officer, leads the German rebellion against Rome.
And failed.
Yeah, it's only the same. The Sassanids were basically ruled over by a royal family, and generals were mainly loyal to their tribe. So, greed and power. What reasons do people change sides? Money, greed, power. More opportunities to rise up the ladder and become leader.
Become emperor one day. That's a Scabbard thought.
Oh. Well, yeah, except in the in the Arabic Empire, you couldn't rule because you couldn't rule unless you were Arab. So you had to be part of the Arab ruling class. Then again, look at Britain. We're still ruled by Normans. 1,000 years on, we're still ruled by a Norman royal by the descendants of the Norman royal family. Our aristocracy in Britain are Normans.
Well, not the Germans.
No, our aristocracy, the ruling class.
Oh.
Britain has a class system, and at the top of it are the Normans. The Normans.
So we're working class.
Well, yeah, but we're Saxons. We're the descendants of the Saxons and the Vikings. Whereas the ruling elite, generally, people with 3 names in the name, you know, something Parker something kind of names.
Like
they're all Normans. So all the people, all the elites are. They've all got Norman-sounding names, most of them. So.
Mine's just really
well,
long.
the people who own all the country estates, the people who own all the land, they're still the descendants of the Normans. What colour shall I do? I'm going to do his trousers like that.
My name has 19 letters in it.
Good for you. I bet you learnt that at school, didn't you?
No, it's counting now.
So you look at what the Arabs did in the Middle East, the Arab conquest. Yeah, they would go into towns and they would kill and slaughter people. But then look at what the Mongols did. They killed every single person in Baghdad, and they made a pile of skulls around the city, a wall of skulls around the city. Right? They killed every single person they could get their hands on. Look at what the Normans did in Britain. Northern Britain refused to bow down to William because they didn't like him, and so Harry, when he took over, slaughtered 2/3 of the population of Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Just killed everybody. So, hey, this stuff happens. It's just the way empires behave. Best one, British in India. How many million people died when we were suppressing the revolt? We practically, the reason there are so few Muslims were so few Muslims before partition in India, the Indian part of India, instead of Pakistan, was because the British basically went through and killed everybody. So there weren't really that many people left. When we first took over, India was a majority Muslim country.
Yep.
I'm going to do the skin tone on the guy now. I haven't got around to his shield yet. I haven't really decided. Skin tone for these guys. This guy, I would guess, is probably a convert. So I would guess he'd be a Sassanid originally. It's from Persia. So I'm going to do him in a little bit of skin tone, added to some spear shaft brown. I'm not actually sure what the proper name for it nowadays is, because we use the paints. Oh, I don't know where it is. I think I've run out. Do you know what it's called?
Bestial brown.
Bestial brown. That's it. So I'm just touching his hands in. Oh, he's got a little bit of character to him now. I like this guy. I think this guy's going to be successful in his military career. I reckon he's got probably a little farm.
I reckon he's not going to live much longer because he's got, I think that the army should face the Saxon army.
Yeah, well, it's going to.
Good. Can't wait to see the result. I've uploaded that video.
I've already uploaded it, yeah, so people will already be able to watch the new battle we did. I'm just giving him a little bit of lighter tone, just to tone his skin up.
What's it for people not seen it yet?
Yeah, it was an interesting game.
Funny game.
That's there. I like this guy. Yeah, I reckon he's probably got a small farm. Actually, no, I think he looks more like a city dweller. So he probably comes from a town somewhere in northern Iran. What do you think?
I don't have any opinion.
No?
Don't shoot me in the face. I'm not Marvin.
Not who?
I'm not Marvin from Pulp Fiction. Don't shoot me in the face.
Yeah, do you realise that people who haven't seen Pulp Fiction are not going to know what you're talking about?
Well, search it up.
I love Tarantino, he's cool. So just painting this. Anyhow, this is our new army, the Arab Conquest Army. And we're still working the army out. We're just going off the army list, getting bits as we go. I just realised he's got a leather thing on the back of his head. Something a little bit more leathery. I just realised that. There's a little leather neck guard to stop people hacking his head off from behind.
No, still hack your head off from behind.
Probably would. Probably would. I like the way
Makes
the
you feel
wood's gone.
safe.
If it turns a sword blade once, then it's worth it. But mixing the leathers come in handy because I now get to do his straps. His actual belt, I'm actually going to do the same colour as the straps for this one. Just paint it on there, get the strap on. And I've smudged. Oh great, I hate when I smudge. You know, I had a friend used to be in our old gaming club, and when he used to do a lot of 40k stuff, and if he smudged, he would then undercoat the figure again. He would actually go, it was like, right, gotta restart the whole figure. He was totally OCD.
That's the worst.
I think it was him that he used to turn the light switch on and off constantly.
Why?
In the gaming, it'd go to use the bathroom at the gaming place. We used to rent a place next to the church hall, and he used to go into the bathroom. You knew he was in the bathroom because the light kept turning on and off. Because he had this thing about turning the light on and off. He had to turn it on and off so many times, otherwise he'd get hit by an asteroid or something. Or his parents would explode or turn into lemmings. Or I don't know. It's not funny, it's a mental illness.
Boyfriend, you finished yet? Sorry, I can't.
Hey, don't mock the afflicted. It's not fair. Right, so that's done there. I quite like the way this has gone, it's quite good. Shield. What we're doing with the shield.
Oh god, I'll think again.
Yeah.
I hate thinking. What are these guys kind of dark coloured people, or do they go for light colours more?
Depended where you came from. It really depended where you came from. Do all sorts of designs. Just do a generic Arabic design.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right, so I'm going to do a generic Muslim shield. What shall I go for? Green. That's a nice Muslim colour.
Green.
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 Green. So I'll have that. If you notice, I am actually mixing it on top of the skin tone to try and get an interesting colour, but it hasn't really worked. I don't think I've got enough. I'm going to have to add a bit just to make it a little bit more interesting. Oh, that's a nice tone. That's a nice tone.
To you it's a nice tone, to me it looks disgusting.
Right, so about
oh no, my actually looks pretty nice actually.
Yeah, that looks nice, doesn't it? Yeah. See, if you just get the paint out of the tin, you get the same paint on all your figures. But if you mix your own paint every time you paint something, you get a nice sort of covering of different colours.
Let's go in the middle.
I'm not sure whether that would look good full or not. In fact it will. I'm going to do it full. There. Okay. Now I need need to add a bit of white to a bit of, what's that, khaki? Bit of white added to khaki, too much. That's it. Usually I paint all the figures in one go, and that's not gone right. It's easier that way. It's actually taking longer to paint a figure, painting a single figure on its own, but I am talking constantly, so maybe that does it. Yeah, so we can use your Saxons as Franks. That's why I've redone the shields. That's why I'm using a different shield, because I'm using a slightly more generic shield design. Some of your troops have got, some of your troops have got Saxon shields. Some of the shields are generic shield design. I like the way that's gone.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm going to add. No, I don't want to add that green. I want to add the darker green. Oh, we're nearly out of whatever dark green is. What's dark green? Goblin green. Goblin green? Caliban green. Caliban. What a strange name. She's not listening to me, is she?
No.
No. Now, I'm just going to put this on because the shield's been... You know, this guy has actually marched all the way from the Syrian border, all the way across Turkey, and he's now battering shield walls in the middle of the Byzantine Empire. So his shield's been through a bit.
The shield wall.
His shield's been through a bit. You know, he's got a bit of damage to it. There's a little bit of patterning on it. You know, because he's been doing quite a bit of work. It's not easy conquering countries, you know.
Too much effort into it.
There's a lot of effort. And so I'm going to put a little nick in his shield there, just to make it look good. A little nick there, and he's got a little bit there, so it shows he'd put the work in. I mean, what I'd do, I'd probably, you know, at night when everyone was sat around the campfire doing whatever people do around campfires when they don't have alcohol, I'd probably be around the back of a camel cutting my shield up and then saying, look how well I've fought, my shield's all damaged, and then spend the rest of the battle hiding right at the back rank.
What, pretending that you're actually dead but you're not?
No, just hiding behind all the big guys. I just stand right at the back and say, yeah, well done lad, well done, keep going, well done, totally with you.
Oh man, I can't kill anyone. Wow.
Yeah, and then whenever all the front rank's dead and the enemy have run away, I'll step to the front and go, well, that was well done, wasn't it, guys? Maybe wipe some blood on my sword. Yeah, because
or stab a dead body so you can get blood in your sword.
Yeah, I would be completely useless in the army. I'd just be, I'd volunteer to feed the horses. We have guns now,
so you're far away from the enemy.
Well, if I could sit in a small room and fight by Xbox controller, I'd be fine.
People do still do that, right?
Yeah, I know people do that.
That's how
they fly drones. It's pathetic, isn't it?
World War 3, I can see it. It's actually operated by people playing Xbox.
But you don't win a war with a drone. You win a war by kicking a guy's door down and shooting his family.
I mean, I can see World War 3 robots taking over and robots being armies. And we're just computing our games.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that it's not how you win a war. You win a war by making the enemy not want to fight.
Right, is that a good figure?
I haven't finished it. So, what am I going to write?
What, you'll write on it? Well, I have no idea then.
Okay. Shall I just go with Old Faithful?
Yeah.
So I'll just write Allah. They did tend to write the name of their god on their shields.
We just had a cross.
No, we had an X and a P. The cross was much later. didn't come out brilliant. You have slightly more room on the round shields, so I think I'll do something a bit different on the front of the shield. There. Try and be careful because if I mess it up, I've already used all the green up.
That looks better.
Yeah. There you go. That's Allah, the name of the god of this particular chap. Although chances were he was born a Zoroastrian, but I'm not going to pick holes.
But you like to pick holes.
Well, most of Persia was Zoroastrian throughout the Arabic Empire, the First Empire. So, yeah, as long as you paid your taxes, the general left you alone, because they couldn't really afford to go around victimizing people locally when you needed to fight wars abroad. Right, here we go. Put his shoes on. Should have done the shoes first.
Good point.
Right, and now he just needs a few bits just to highlight his legs. Sorry, the things on the bottom of his trousers, just a few bits just to give him a bit more texture. Just like that. There. How's that?
Splendid.
Splendid. All next thing to do is to base it, so just move the board away. This is why I said I should have done his feet first. Right.
I know.
Yeah. So I'm very, very careful.
Am I getting perfect?
I wouldn't normally do this. I'd normally leave them to set, but I'm doing it for a video, so I'm going to try and base it at the same time. So, nice plastic bases. Sadly, we don't sell these at our eBay shop, but if you want to buy the figures, we sell all the figures at our eBay shop, so just pop along there and have a look. Just scroll down. I will leave a link in the bar below for the figure in question, for the shop, and we've got all the paints and stuff you need. So, you know, just in case you were wanting to get some. I get shouted at for not plugging. Where's the super glue?
Well, it was in front of my eyes, now you moved it.
Yeah, it's been stolen.
Oh no, it was stolen by Yachts and Sealer.
No, she stole my super glue.
I bought it.
You bought everything in the house.
Yeah, you buy everything.
Good point.
Yeah, I just sit here, paint figures,
I just picture
and
in the future, you, before I leave the house, with my children, you're going to say, here's your bill.
well, yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So I read an article in the paper today that said that teenagers cost parents £25,000, and you said that was rubbish. And then you worked out over the last year, we've spent how much on you?
No, not last year.
All the Xbox games.
Oh, no, that's
£400
over my
worth of
lifetime.
Xbox games.
Over a lifetime, you spent £2,000 on me.
On
£2,000
Xbox?
on the Xbox.
That's just on Xbox.
My Xboxes and Xbox games, £2,000.
Yeah, I want
That's
my...
my Xbox One games, by the way. Not my Xbox 360 games counted in.
He's not fitting
So
in.
I'd say £3,000, £4,000 on gaming gear for me.
Yeah. So remember when you walk out this house, I'll have that.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you're getting a bill.
I don't know about that.
I think I'm interested as well.
No, I don't know about any of that.
Just have to prop the figure up. His foot doesn't appear to be doesn't appear to land particularly well on the base, which is... oh no, I've just stuck the camera to the desk. So yeah, that's... why isn't it sticking? Let's check what's wrong with him. No, the foot looks level. I don't see why it's not. No, this never happens.
Yeah, but because we're
And because I'm recording, it's gone funny.
it's going to attack you. Well, there we go.
That's it, it's set. I'm not going to dare pick him up for the second. I'm just going to leave it a few seconds for it to actually definitely set.
Oh, this was a long video, wow.
Yeah, it did turn out quite long. So I hope you enjoyed the video. It's just painting one figure. I know, how boring, but he did
Well, there's lots of people wanting this.
Yeah, so that's the figure finished. It's a nice Arabic soldier converted from a griffin beast soldier. Sorry, griffin beast Viking, and that's him done. And he's gonna, it will set. Right, so thank you very much for watching. Over to my trusty sidekick.
So if you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think of the new, Arab painting.
Yeah, so it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
Bye.